Hello everybody, K-Whip here, and welcome to another episode of Optimizing Subclasses. In this episode, I will go in depth on how to best shotgun on the Stormcaller subclass. Now, what you gotta do is equip any shotgun, make sure you have amplitude on your thunderstrike, and you are now the best shotgunner in the game. Anyway, that's it for me. Thanks for watching the video. Please leave a like if you enjoyed. Okay, well, I guess that's a joke. There's a bit more to it than that. But if you have a shotgun and thunderstrike, you really can't go wrong. Stormcaller is probably the easiest subclass to shotgun on, but there are things you can do to become the best and most disgusting Stormcaller shotgunner you can be. Starting with what grenade to use, Storm and Arc Bolt grenades are each solid options. Arc Bolts are a decent option because they can be effective at priming people prior to an engagement. However, I find them pretty weak as they do a measly 91 damage and are pretty easy to dodge due to their poor blast radius. That is why I think Storm grenades are better. It is a grenade with a much higher potential damage and the ability to even one-hit kill. It is also great because the grenade has a large radius and lasts a long time, so it is good for zoning, blocking off choke points, and doing group damage. It is also deadly when paired with the Arc Web perk, which I will go over later. When playing on a Warlock, the best jump is always Focused Burst. Focused Burst allows you to be the fastest you can be on a Warlock. As you jump, then begin gliding down on your descent, and repeat the process over and over again to move faster. Focus Burst can also work well in propelling you towards an enemy to shotgun them. Not having increased control in the air doesn't matter much because as a Warlock you never want to stay floating in the air long, or you are easily killed unless you are floating like around a corner or a doorway to catch people off guard and shotgun them, which is always a great strategy on any Warlock. For the modifier to use on the super, the best option is easily Ionic Blink. Ionic Blink increases your survivability drastically in your super, because when in your Storm Trance, you cannot do anything more evasive than jumping unless you have Ionic Blink. So if you do not have or do not use Ionic Blink, you will get team shot out of Stormcaller much more often. To avoid this with Ionic Blink, you want to use your blink when rounding corners or entering new areas, so if people are hard scoping that area, you will be harder to hit. Also use the blink to close gaps between you and your enemy. Also, when attacking a group of people, I zap people until I get a kill, and right after I do, I blink, then lock onto the next target, zap them until they die, blink again, continue the process, and it's the best way to avoid getting team shot to death, as the blink will make them have to adjust their aim, and it will also make you temporarily invincible. Ionic Blink can also effectively dodge supers. When you see an enemy that you believe may have a super that could shut you down, try to get pretty close to them, and then when they are about to activate your super, jump up and blink away, and you can effectively dodge the Nova Bomb, Striker, or Tether coming at you. A final note about the super is that you want to stay as far away from your opponent as possible while still having the ability to zap them. This will reduce the amount of times that you get shotgun meleeed or supered. The melee perk is another no-brainer. Amplitude is absolutely absurd and grants you the ability to hit someone with your melee for 134 damage regardless of where they are on the map. This melee allows you to stay at a farther distance when shotgunning because you can do about half the damage needed to get a kill, then melee them at the exact same range. You can shotgun melee farther than any other class in the game and will catch people off guard because in many situations you would not be able to get the kill unless you have this crazy extended melee. For this middle row of perks, Transcendence is a popular option, however it revolves around not using your abilities just to have a stronger super, which is something I'm against. I use my abilities as much as possible to take the greatest advantage of them, so I don't want to worry about holding on to them, especially just to make one of the best supers in the game a little better. Also, I run 0 or 1 tier Discipline, so I can go a while without having a grenade to get my Transcendence. The perk I recommend instead is Pulse Wave. This is a lifesaver. It increases weapon and movement speed while you are weak to you and your teammates. There are many situations when I have survived because of the increased speed from Pulse Wave. I also think it covers the Warlock's main weakness being its poor jump and lacking in elusiveness. Pulse Wave solves some of this and makes it easier to relocate and escape from bad situations. In this final row, just about all options are decent. The first perk helps you get your super a little faster and makes it a bit better, but I don't find it too noticeable, and I think it's actually the worst option. Arc Web is a very underrated perk and my personal favorite. It cranks up the potential damage on your grenades, and if multiple people are nearby, it makes the Storm Grenade a weapon of mass destruction, which will get you some multi-kills that just don't make sense. That being said, Perpetual Charge is quite good, as I use my abilities, especially the melee on the Warlock, a ton, so to be granted more charges is an awesome ability. I think Perpetual Charge is great if you prefer Arc Bolts too, because you can Arc Bolt then melee someone, which will kill them, and you'll instantly have another grenade so you can lead your next engagement with it. These perks are something to play around with, and none of them really stand out a ton from the others. For some final things to optimize your Stormcaller, I would focus on Intellect and Strength to take advantage of your great super and ridiculous melee. To further take advantage of the melee, use the Claws of Ahamkara in order to have an extra melee charge. Another note is I would try to just about max out your recovery, because full armor on Warlocks without RAM isn't too rewarding, and with full recovery on a Warlock, you regen absurdly fast. People often push you thinking you're weak, then you turn on them a speedy Warlock with Pulse Wave, full health, and unlimited melee range. A true nightmare. Lastly, if you get a shotgun with the perk Close and or Personal, it is fantastic for Stormcallers because it makes your crazy melee do even more damage. That's the advice I had for you on shotgunning on Stormcaller. Leave a like if this was helpful, comment down below which Stormcaller perks you prefer, and subscribe for some more Destiny videos. Thanks for watching, and see you later.